Catalina.
Welcome back to the Triple Option, the Monday Maniac, Chris Allman.
I don't know what that
we
was.
have to have a better pop for you than that.
Yeah, is there like a applause sound?
Yeah.
You just press.
Should we need to set up a camera for you? Can we have curtains? You could come through the door. The problem is you're coming out of the sunlight into here, so it wouldn't look the same as like a wrestling introduction where they come out of the dark and just appear.
Sure. You know what else doesn't look like a wrestling introduction? Me walking out.
This is for Pat McAfee, but
that guy's a really good wrestler.
Yeah.
And people need to trust me. I know what makes a really good wrestler. Pat McAfee is really good. Pat McAfee might be the one guy who could do what Dion does.
Yeah, but then that would take him away from.
But he'd do it at West Virginia, and people would be like, pass. Good. Good.
I'm sure West Virginia would love that.
Oh, they'd kill for it.
Love it.
The Pac-12. Why is it so awesome? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's just sports gods are cruel.
But it's weird. So you wait, you do all these stupid things and run your conference into the ground. And then the last year of its existence, it's probably the best league top to bottom in the country this year.
Is it? Okay. I want to make sure I try to answer the question. I don't know that there is an answer of why is it so awesome in its last year. I think it's just how it's fallen.
Yeah.
Right? But does it make you guys have followed this better than anyone.
Yeah.
Does it make you pound the table angry at Pac-12 leadership?
Yeah, a little bit, because now this is all going to be spread out.
Or university presidents.
Because look, I think that there are other fan bases in the country that have wanted the SEC grip to loosen for a long time. And part of that grip is you've got all the good quarterbacks in your league, right? Mm-hmm. We talked about earlier. You get a good quarterback, things can change. Well, now, there's only a couple teams in the Pac-12 that don't either have a really good quarterback or have one that you're excited about. So, I would say that Stanford and Cal are the only two that people really don't know about.
Yeah.
Arizona fans are like Jaden DeLaura, even though they're still in the build.
Yeah.
Jaden Rashad at Arizona State was one of the number one prospects in the country and wound up there. And then you go, DJ Moore, I think, was the number one prospect in the country. He's at UCLA. And then you look at the rest of the league. You've got the reigning Heisman Trophy winner in Caleb Williams. You've got Bo Nix. You've got Shadir Sanders. You've got DJU. You've got Cam Ward. You've got Michael Penix. Holy cow. That's a league. That is an absolute league, right? And Cam Rising hasn't even played yet, and he's won 2 Pac-12 titles in a row. So they've got all this excitement just around quarterback position, not to mention all the other good things going on there. And the league is over because you've got 4 teams going here and 4 teams going here and 2 teams going here and, and 2 left behind, right? So.
Yeah, I don't know that there's an answer to your question other than I don't know. I think the whole thing sucks in general. I think even if the Pac-12 wasn't good, I still think it sucks the Pac-12 is going away.
Yeah.
I hate it. And I am the guy that wants to pound the table and be mad at leadership. And years ago, when I was doing radio, I was brand new in the Waco market doing radio, and I was running the board for the Guy Morris show. J-Mo was interviewing Guy Morris. And Coach Morris kind of went on this rant about university leadership because David Cutcliffe had just been fired at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And everybody respects him so much.
Yeah.
Morris went on this rant about non-football people making decisions.
Yeah.
And that, for some reason, that's what I think about. I think when the death of this conference. And I don't think they care. And we don't know. It could go. The Big Ten could go be the most electric conference in the country the next year or two.
It better be, considering who they're getting.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it does make me say, while in one sense, I love the Dion experience, bring me change. There's also the other part of me that's like, no, don't change anything. Yeah. I want the Pac-12 to stay, because if they could just recreate what they've done so far for the first 3 weeks, if they could just do that every year, they'd be the most watched, maybe not guaranteed the most watched conference in the country, but they'd get a lot more national eyeballs. Yeah.
Well, and we heard throughout the process, it was interesting where people college football on the West Coast, the powers that be don't look at it the same way as where if you're the university president at an SEC school, you better wrap your arms around it.
Sure.
And tell it you love it.
Yeah.
give it a stuffed animal when it's sad. Like those are the things you have to do.
Give it candy for dinner.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
If you're in the SEC or the Big 12 and those conferences, the Big 10, you have to absolutely you have to make sure football is. For some reason, on the West Coast, in those schools, like not all of them, not all, but some of them, and the ones that ultimately wound up undoing the whole thing, did not see it that way and didn't appreciate it to what it was. And you have to look no further than if you go back and read the minutes from the Cal Board of Regents meeting where they were talking about UCLA leaving and how much money they were going to get. And the people who've never thought about college football that are on that board that are, physicists or whatever, that they don't have time to do that.
A bunch of tree hugging libs.
Yeah. Whatever they are. Right. But they're like, so the athletic department is losing how much money a year? And they're like, okay. And how much money we're going to get? And they're like, well, that sounds like more. Like, look, I don't usually do simple math because I'm a theoretical physicist, but it doesn't seem like I should be bothered with this decision. So do whatever you want. That was the tone I got from it. Or people going or that they were just genuinely surprised to hear that there's how much for television revenue? People watch it that much on TV?
Yeah.
I don't have I don't have one. I only read books and go to lectures and plays. So those are the things that happen. So they hear these things, and where if you said that in Auburn, Alabama, and the president was like, "Well, I didn't realize that we got that much money," you'd be like, "Sir, where did you come from, and how fast can you get back there?"
He'd be strapped to Toomer's tree.
Yeah,
and just tarred and feathered.
Did you see the "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou"?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
At the end of the movie, it's all set against the governor's race in Mississippi.
Okay.
And the guy who winds up losing gets caught, being just a bad guy. And they literally ran him out of, they came in with a rail and brought him out. That was the thing.
Okay.
They put him on a rail and ran him out of town. He sat there.
Yes.
And so that's what would happen. But so the West Coast got to that point, and then they didn't even realize what they had. I'm sure George Kliavkoff is sitting there going, I mean, this year would have been beyond his wildest dreams.
Yeah.
And everything he would have wanted to sell to the television networks.
Yeah.
Everything he would have wanted to sell. And then they just went, yeah, I don't get it. So.
But it's decisions being made by people who don't care that much about what happens on the field and people that don't really understand what happens on the field, right? Our decision makers are just not unlike our government. They're all just incredibly detached. And I'm talking about at every level.
Oh, yeah.
They're just detached from what's really going on.
Yeah, look, there's I'll say this and we have to go. But
you didn't want to get into politics talk?
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
The SAG, AFTRA, and Writers Guild strikes are going right now.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers is going to lose $500 million this year because of it. You know what the Writers Guild was asking for? $45 million.
Okay.
So their own greed got them in this mess. And now now it's to the point where you've lost so much money. Are you going to try to just fast forward through the other side?
Yeah.
And so those decision things that happen in society all the time are what happened to the Pac-12. And that your own greed and just lack of foresight got you in this spot.
And we do. We call it greed, and oftentimes it is. But sometimes, too, what people want more is power.
Yeah.
And they want to exercise, the strike is probably about just power over people.
Yeah.
And they want that power as much as they want the money, though it ultimately all does come down to money.
You lose enough money for other people, and they'll take that power away.
They will take that power away.
Faster than you ever thought you could. You'll have it, and it'll be gone, and you'll be like, how did this happen so fast? And oh, count the money you lost.
Oh, yeah. I used to be powerful.
That's why the Pac-12 is no more. Well, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to the Monday Maniac, Chris Allman. I'm going to make it stick. I hope we get